G'day, Miss Lissy. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for the comment and happy to help. Now, I want you to take this as intended. This may seem a little bit insensitive. I've been called out for a number of other posts on this similar topic. It is my best intentions to give you the tools that you need to elevate from this situation that you're in. I acknowledge that some people are enduring cost of living pressures. I acknowledge that life is expensive. And as I covered off in an earlier video that I did today, that inflation is a universal tax for those who fail to act in spite of that tax. So, as some benchmarks to give you, when we work with our clients, we aim to work towards what we call the 50-30-20 rule, which means that 50% of your net household income should be for your non-negotiables, your necessities of life, which includes rent, groceries, bills, essentials. You should have 30% for necessity, for nice to have, so discretionary spending, going out on the weekend, buying yourself stuff, having joys in life, right? And we should ideally be able to have a 20% surplus. Now, we have some ranges for this. So for the necessities, ideally 50, maximum 65%. And then your discretionary should be responsive to that. So ideally 30, but we can reduce that down. Sorry, had to cough, didn't want you to hear it. We reduce that down to a minimum of 15%. Any less than 15%, we start compromising your ability to live a great lifestyle and sustain that trajectory. We should always have a 20% surplus. So if you're spending 70% on just rent, this is substantially higher than those benchmarks, and that doesn't even consider any of the other necessities. So what this tells me is that either your rent exceeds the amount of income that you're earning, so you need to look for lower cost accommodation. I understand that's hard. Or you need to look for ways to increase your income. So what you need to work out is basically whatever your rent is, you should be probably dividing that by, let's divide that by 70, and then multiply that by 35. And that should tell you the rent that you should be paying based on the income that you are earning. Or in turn, if that's 70% what you're earning, we need to make sure that we dilute that. So then we need to work out what you need to do to ensure that your total necessities does not exceed 50% of what you're earning. And that should now allow you to set an income target. Now, that income target, you may immediately say, how am I ever going to earn that? Well, you need to work that out, okay? So let's say, for argument's sake, keep my numbers around here. Let's say that your fixed expenses every single week are $1,000 per week, okay? That's your rent, that's your bills, that's your groceries, that's everything, okay? Now, if that's got to be 50%, you've got to earn $2,000 per week after tax in order for you to meet those benchmarks, okay? So then you've got to say, okay, well, what do I need to do in order to be in a position to do that? I want you to go and research, jump onto Indeed or Seek, go have a look in your role with your experience. What are other roles that they're advertised for? What's the market? What's your ascension pathway to that point? Or can you just negotiate more money? My partner is a career coach, so I approach it from a business owner's perspective. She approaches it from an employee's perspective, and she helps people every single day understand what are their marketable, high-value skills, and then basically promote those skills so they can demand higher income from either their current employer or in the marketplace, because you should be rewarded commensurate to the value that you add to society, whether you are an employee or whether you are a business owner. I suspect that you are an employee. And you need to be able to quantify that value and then work out how do you create an asymmetrical risk versus return for your employer. So, for example, if you need to make $2,000 net, let's assume that you need to earn, let's call it $2,500 or $3,000 a week in order to do that scenario that I gave you. Well, for that to be profitable for your employer, what value would you need to give them? And this is how this works, right? This is a value exchange. Yes, there are circumstances where people take advantage. That aside, I know there's going to be people in the comments that try and say this. Assuming that all things are equal, assuming you understand your value, assuming that you can negotiate for it, you just need to understand the economics of your situation so then you can work out what you've got to do to bridge this gap. So if you've got any questions, let me know. I've got a book written on this topic to help you reverse engineer this stuff. So feel free to jump in the link in my bio or search for my name on Amazon. You can grab my book, Enjoy the Journey, Creating Wealth and Living the Life You Desire. I've created a whole framework for this. So if you want the tools and you're prepared to learn to fix this, then I can help you. And you can access those resources. Of course, if you've got any other questions, hit me up in the comments.